Now apparently, years ago, for the more wealthy people, there used to be a little train that brought them onto the island itself, so that the posh people didn't get their feet wet as they went across the causeway. So they definitely look after them. But I'm not sure that is the case anymore. We definitely haven't seen one. So a bit of information. There's plenty of information boards all the way around, and like you just saw, you can get like an audio, a little bit like Stonehenge. So you can see behind me some of those stairs that we've just climbed up. Now this area here is the living quarters, just behind me there, Down to the bottom is the monks, and up here on the left hand side is the ladies. Now they all eat, do everything separately. They arrange masses, which is 3 times a day, every single day of the week, but they do come together to eat and celebrate Christmas. So over that Christmas period they all get together. And just on that note as well, see this little tap behind me? Well, it does work. It was mainly to collect all the rain, and they used to use it for baths years and years ago, and they would just fill it once. It had a linen cloth in it, and they would just get in one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. They wouldn't stay in it very long, because obviously in those days people were afraid of water. They don't lounge about like we do, but yeah, they used to share all the bath water, which is pretty unbelievable, and it used to be collected from there. There's 4 of those taps around the mount itself, and in the late 19th century it was actually turned into a prison for 70 years. Now over the space of those 70 years it housed around 40,000 prisoners, which they had to work to earn any form of living, any form of the keep or anything like that. So it was a very, very tough place to come. And then as we approached the later years, like I said, it was only for 70 years, but 70 years is really, really bad. And as you can see just up there, once again, there's the second tap. So there's 4 of them around Mont Saint Michel. We're going to continue our little tour. Luckily, I mean, it's a Sunday afternoon, it's not too busy. Mass has already started. I think that'll be the first Mass of the day. So we're just going to find out a little bit of information before we actually go inside the Abbey. But wow, these stairs, you got to be fit. You got to be fit, by the way, and I'm not. Look at this view. We are out on the west wing. We're going to go into the Abbey itself very, very soon, but let's just take in, it's a different view of the bay, but it's pretty amazing, isn't it? And like I said, Brittany is out that way over there, and believe it or not, that island that you can see just behind me, that's actually bigger than this one, but not as high, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. But look at it. And you can see sort of why they used it as a prison as well, because there really would only be one way off, and if you went down, tried to escape through those salt flats and those mud flats, you wouldn't get very, very far. You might be able to work out some of these letters and numbers that are on the stones, and I'll explain in just a second. There we go, we've got like a cross there, there's a letter A there, there's an 8 there, there's a 9 there as well. So these were marks that were given to the workers. Now they were all hand carried up here, so a lot of work obviously went into all of this, and every sort of fortnight or every month all the stones would be counted, they would earn their pay, and they would all put their mark on the stone. So very, very interesting, and it's amazing that after so many years it's all still here. Now just here you've got this little step and this is where the nave used to come right the way out. But about 15 years before the French Revolution, there was a fire, so they didn't have time to rebuild it, and they haven't done so since, for one reason or another. And just over here we have a couple of burial stones. I'll show you, there will be photos to accompany this, but there's two bishops or monks buried just down there. I'm just going to zoom in on that one for you. There we go.
So some others say here they come then from the mainland. There have been a lot of explorations. I mean, for example, here
so much amazing history in this place, and it's gone through a lot of turmoil, like everywhere really, over the years, with the French Revolution, different battles throughout history, you know, won, fought, lost, you know, and like I said before, this place was once a prison as well, which is crazy, isn't it? And it was interesting really, because they were saying about the over the years, since it was first built many centuries ago, there's been 16 different fires here. Obviously that one that I've just talked about with the nave and all that type of thing, but there's been 16 different fires, and people have said, well, it's all stone, look at it, you can see it's all stone, how come, you know, there's been fires? Well, obviously the roofing and things like that has wooden materials and burnable materials, and once rock gets so hot, it does give off a lot of heat. But there was also a fair bit of corruption throughout the years as well, because obviously this place is used still today as a pilgrimage, so people do come, they donate money, they give money, and it was thought that just before the French Revolution that some of the monks were taking the money and pocketing themselves. Now there's no records of this, because obviously in the French Revolution they were all destroyed and burnt and things like that. As for the numbers of the monks that used to live here over the years, but they can checking the records from St Michael's Mount in Cornwall, they can get a rough idea, but there were no records after the French Revolution of any sort of history here as far as financial gains, donations, that type of thing, numbers. So yeah, we're going to pop inside in just a few moments. We're just waiting for our guide, because we have got a guided tour as well, which comes as part of the package from P&O, and it was £70 in total, but I'll tell you what, that was each actually, but it's well worth it, it's well worth it. Like I said, a 2-hour coach journey here, 2-hour coach journey back, your entry tickets and all this amazing scenery.
Comes from England, from Holbeck. The other ones here, they come from Normandy. 13th century, 19th century.
I know I said there was no heating in this place whatsoever, apart from the Grand Hall. Now the last king to visit this was in 1532, and that was King Francis. Now, King Francis was King of France, obviously, from 1515 to 1547, I do believe. So what they would do, they would travel for weeks on end, finally arrive here. Just behind me, you can see where the old fireplace used to be, but it's bricked in now, because when it became a prison in the 1900s, they took all the loose stone away so the prisoners wouldn't kill each other. And just at the back of the hall and behind me there, you can see that's where the ovens were. So the king would turn up, stay for 3-4 days or however long, they would do it all out, make it look spectacular, hang drapes, put furniture all around, and have mega feasts day after day until the king left. And then as soon as the king left, they would strip it bare, and it would stay bare until the next king arrived, and they would do exactly the same, just to make it more pleasant for the king. Lucky bugger. We go from the Grand Hall into This was the King's Chapel, his own private chapel that he could come and worship when he was staying. Now, when it was turned into a prison, what they used to do, this used to be the Visitors Hall. So it's quite nice, isn't it? But the history in this place is absolutely unbelievable. Nice high ceilings, plenty of light in here, you know, and you've still got the old cross up on there as well. So that was the King's Chapel, his own private one. How lucky is he? Not only does he get all that meat when he comes and feasts, it wasn't soup or bread or anything like that, it was the full works. Come from the King's private chapel into one of 4 crypts on Mont Saint Michel, and nobody's actually buried here, but this is where they used to lay some of the bodies, and it dates back to around the 15th century. And like I said, there are 4 of them here as well. It's a little bit dark, very atmospheric, keeping it pretty much like it used to be way back in the 15th century. It's very gothic as well. You can tell by the designs and the portholes and things like that, the shapes of the doors, the arches, the windows, Romanesque all the way through into the Gothic era, and it is shown all over the place. It really, really is. Just have a quick look. I don't know whether you can work out that up there. 14th century, 15th century Gothic era. So right next to the crypt, which we've just come out of, you would come into the area of prayer for most of the monks. Now this part of the abbey dates back to around the 11th century, so quite Romanesque, and as you can probably work out up there, the walls are 3 foot thick, and on the sides 2 foot thick. Which is absolutely crazy. Now where that cross is placed there, they would pray first thing in the morning to see the sun rise, and obviously behind me that would be where you would pray to see the sun go down, sunset. Let's move on. This part of the abbey would be where they lay the bodies to rest for around 2 to 3 days. Just through that brown door there would be the infirmary, where they would see out their last days, and then they would be placed in the centre here, so the monks could come down and pray for them before they went off to the cemetery. And that place that you just saw there with the big wheel, that's the Bones house. A little interesting little story on that one. After the monks were buried and things like that, they used to take the bones and they were collected there and kept there. So we've almost come to the end of our tour around Mont Saint Michel, and I would definitely come back and do it again, and you know, take it more in depth. And obviously with the video you guys will just see just a snippet. Well guys, it really is impossible to tell you, and I hope it's coming out in the video, I can't tell you how magical this place really is. It's pretty unbelievable, really. It really is. It's one of the most interesting places that Travel Tour Taste has ever visited so far in its short history of nearly 2 years now. Coming up to the second year, it will be in April 2022. That'll be our second anniversary. But yeah, this is by far one of the most magical places. And if you've watched the Bulgaria videos, if you've watched the Malta videos with Game of Thrones, that was quite magical as well. But this place is really something else. And these, honestly, these little cobbled streets and all the old stone, it just looks amazing. It really does. And we're now almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's still tons of people just arriving. So, and what are we? We're just the beginning of April now. So you can imagine in the heat of summer how busy this place gets. Obviously the last 2 years it wouldn't have had that many people in here, but now it is really starting to pick up tons of tourists, all nationalities, but it's getting really, really busy and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, look at that. Sarah had to, didn't she? Amazing stuff. Some of these shops are unbelievable. So you've got to come and visit if you're in Normandy, because you will not be disappointed. All I would say is bring sandwiches, because it is very, very expensive. And of course in France they're on the euro, so as far as food and that type of thing, it is pretty expensive. We just looked and a Coca-Cola was nearly €5, or just over €5, I think. So bring £5.50. So there you go. So make sure you bring yourself, you know, a drink and some sandwiches and things like that. But do check out a lot of the souvenir shops. The well a look. Get all sorts of things here, really. We've got our fridge magnets, so that's great stuff. Looking forward to getting back to England and putting that on the fridge. But yeah, and I know I already said it, but it really does look like something out of Harry Potter as well. You know, the buildings, the style, and some of these buildings, like I said, date back to the 11th century, which is incredible. Some of them slightly more modern, 19th century, and of course the Abbey itself has had to be rebuilt on several occasions, different parts of it, different sections. And I didn't show you, but at the back of the Abbey they're doing some more reconstruction and refurbishment and all that type of thing as well. But I hope that it's not bored you too much, and it has been a nice little watch. We've had an amazing time, and it would definitely be somewhere we would come back and visit, because 3-4 hours is definitely not enough. There's so much to take in, so much to see, so much to do, so much to learn as well. And like I said, you've got the audio as well, so if you want to do that, just like we did at Stonehenge. Well, we didn't do it at Stonehenge, but they have got the audio at Stonehenge where you can go around and listen to all the history. We're going to head off back to the coach, and we'll catch up with you guys very, very soon. Well, just before we jump back on the coach and head back to Cherbourg, I just want to get an honest opinion from this lovely young gentleman. Now, what is your name, sir?
Lloyd.
Lloyd, there we go. And I do believe that you are from the Midlands?
Well, that way, yes, Stoke-on-Trent, yeah.
Stoke-on-Trent, yeah. The Potters, come on the Potters, Stoke City Football Club. Now, you've been on our trip today, but it's not your first time here, is it?
No, we came with the kids about 8 years ago.
About 8 years ago?
When the kids were little.
Oh.
Just come with the missus this time.
And where are they now?
One's at university, one's in Nottingham, and the other is looking after the cats at home. So there you go.
You don't look old enough to have one in university, mate. You really don't. You really don't. So what's the difference between last time and this time, apart from leaving the kids at home, which is always a bonus?
We came in the height of the summer last time, so there's probably, nice. I'd say, well, the weather was nice, but there was loads more people.
Yeah.
So it's actually been better this time, coming sort of, April.
Yep.
Kids get around a bit easier. Not as busy.
Okay.
We picked a nice day as well, so you know.
We did. We've
wrap
been
up
blessed.
Warm, we've been all right. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, if you had any tips for anybody who's visiting here for the first time, like we were today, what would you say to them?
Bring plenty of money.
Bring plenty of money. So, it is pricey, isn't it?
It's very pricey, Glenn. Yeah, I mean, if you want something to eat, you're paying for it. You know, that is the biggest thing I would say. You know, either bring a packed lunch or just bring plenty of money with you, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what if you're, you know, it's high, isn't it? And it's quite narrow in parts.
Yeah, you've got to be fit, you've got to be able-bodied. If you're not fit or if you're in a wheelchair, you've got no chance, really.
Right, so make sure that you are, you know, your mobility is...
Yeah, your mobility's got to be 100% really, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 'cause it's
Would
very
you
steep.
come back and visit for a third time? Or do you think, that's it, I've done it twice now?
If I was in the area, yes, I would.
Yeah,
I would.
Come and take
Yeah,
another
I'd
look.
take another look. It's beautiful. It's worth visiting. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic
so,
stuff.
yeah.
Lloyd, it's great to meet you. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
I'll see you back on the boat.
See you back on the boat. Brilliant. Thanks. Cheers.
If you like what you've seen today and you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, you're not committing yourself to anything. Give it a massive thumbs up, and if you've got any comments about anything that you saw in the video here today at Mont Saint Michel, then please get those comments going, and me and Sarah will get back to you very, very soon indeed. It is truly magical, it is truly wonderful, and I can't stop singing its praises. An amazing place. We have been blessed, and I think out of all the short excursions from P&O, I think we've definitely picked the correct one. It's been a full day, 8 till 5:30ish, something like that, so very, very, very worthwhile doing. And if you're on the P&O and this one does pop up for you, make sure that this is your choice, because I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Guys, I want to say a huge thank you to each and every single one of you out there, wherever you are watching. Stay safe, have a fabulous day, and thanks again for spending your precious time here with us on Travel Tour Taste. And make sure that you keep a lookout for more adventures. We're going to try and get in a couple of more cruise ships in the coming months as we approach summer and things are finally getting back to normal in the wonderful world of travel. So until next time, be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. God bless.
Travel Tour